All right, I think we're live. Welcome to the Too Many Records live stream extravaganza. I'm back on YouTube. It's been a little break. I was doing a little recharge, a little refresh. I'm back now, and I figured I would celebrate coming back this week with a video on Wednesday by doing a little live stream. So we'll do a little stream. We'll do a little unboxing. We'll do a little chatting. I missed you guys. It's always nice to do these. This is really fun for me, and I get to talk music with you guys, which is great. So thank you. What's going on, Charlie, Java, Becht? We got Charles, Pierre, Michael. Hey, all right, we got a good crew coming in. This is great. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff to unbox. I'm not even sure what all of it is. I know what some of it is, but we will see together. I'm going to wait for a few more people to slide in here. While we're waiting, if you can hit the like button, that's really easy to do to support the stream for YouTube. Miles, glad you made it. Miles always wants me to do unboxings, and I never know when I'm going to, but he's lucky because today's the day and I'm doing one because, you know how we do. Too Many Records unboxer. This thing, the mileage on this thing is unrealistic. It's just unbelievable how many things this has unboxed. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna wait for a few more people to shuffle in, and then we're gonna get started with the unboxing. So it's gonna be fun. If you guys have any questions before we get started with the unboxing, I'll do a few. But as you guys know, the way these work is if you have a question during the unboxing that you want me to answer immediately, hit me with a super chat, and I will immediately answer your question to the fullest ability that I can. So yeah, that's how these usually work. I did not announce this before today, so this might be a smaller, more intimate crew. I don't know yet. We will find out in a few minutes. I said I was going to start this at 5. I started a few minutes early. Oops. Check out this awesome Neutral Milk Hotel shirt. Yeah. So let's see. What do I think about Frank Zappa? I've never been able to get into Frank Zappa's music. I've tried a handful of times. It's just not for me. I know it's like experimental blues, and I'm not even like a regular blues fan. Like I like some blues, but I'm not a blues fan. So I don't know. For me, Zappa's not my cup of tea. My thoughts on the new MF Doom and Czarface album. I haven't listened yet. I have it pre-ordered. I got the variant from Get On Down. But I'm excited about it because I was reading some early reviews and people are saying it's leaps and bounds better than their last one, which I thought was just average. So that's great. I'm going to wait for the album to come to my house so I can listen to it on the turntable because that's how I most appreciate listening to a new album first off is on the turntable. So, yeah, all right, well, we can get started. Last question I will answer before the live stream unboxing, and I'll do more questions at the end. Well, I guess there's two I want to answer right now that I see. The Marcus D, Melancholy Hopeful, TMR Wax Mage winners, they have been picked. The caveat to that is I'm waiting on the final 2 people to confirm. If they do not confirm in 48 hours, then I will continue going down the list. So if you haven't received an email yet and you purchased a copy, you're not completely out of the running, but I will say majority of the winners have been picked and paid up. I know it sucks. There's, only 25 Wax Mage records total. I wish I can give everyone a Wax Mage, but that's just not how Heath and Co. operate. And Welp and Welp asks, will you ever do merch? I have done merch. I have a limited merch that's sold out. We had t-shirts. We have hats. I still have some hats left. If you want a TMR hat, email me, toomanyrecordsmusic@gmail.com. Definitely have a couple hats left, and we have enamel pins that are really nice. So if you're interested in those, get in touch with me. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to show off is not a record, but it's music related, and I'm really stoked about this on a personal level, and I think you guys will appreciate it too. I don't know if you guys ever go on those like resale sites like Mercari and Depop. I sometimes go on just to see what kind of like cool band merch I can find, because sometimes people are selling merch from bands for like way cheaper than it would have been at the show or from their web store. And I found someone selling this authentic hoodie for significantly less than what it would go for from the site. But yeah, so here we go. They said it was worn once. Feels pretty soft actually. This is in my size. This is the from the Eminem show era. I think this is like this is a recent hoodie. I don't think this was from early 2000s, but this is the Eminem Superman logo. I am a huge fan. This is one of my favorite top 3 hip hop albums of all time. Superman itself is my second favorite song on the album, and as you can see, it's authentic Eminem, and it was $25 including shipping. Worn once, $25. So I can't wait to rock this. This is just lyrically one of my favorite songs he's ever done. So yeah, really excited about this find. $25 shipped. It is good to dive into those sites. Next thing I will do right now is show you this. If you have TikTok, you might have saw my TikTok I did earlier about this showing up. This 7-inch record has been a long time coming, and I see a super chat. So first super chat of the chat goes to Mike. Mike's always coming in with the super chats. I appreciate you, brother. You see Motion City Soundtrack is going to be on tour in Portland this February. Am I going? Absolutely. I am so excited to go back to concerts. I'm sure we all are. I already have purchased tickets for Machine Gun Kelly coming to Edgefield, Troutdale, in October. I'm going to see Jose Gonzalez and Rufus that's a tongue twister. Jose Gonzalez and Rufus Wainwright. I should have warmed up before this. In New York City in September, which is going to be unbelievable on the rooftop of the pier. And yeah, I'm definitely going to see Motion City. They were the final show I saw pre-pandemic, and it was an absolute blast. So yeah, I'm totally going. And that's awesome that you got tickets to May. I wish that May was coming to Portland. So this 7-inch that I was talking about, I have been waiting literally since November 2019. I never thought it was coming. I sent 8-9 emails asking about it since then. Nothing had showed up until today. It is the Frank Ocean In My Room 7-inch featuring a remix on the B-side. I literally never thought I was going to get this. I was waiting an absurd amount of time, and the fact that they weren't responding to my emails means that I just assumed that it was never coming, and I just lost my money. It was well after the 180 days that PayPal gives you to be able to get your money back. But eventually it showed up. This is officially the longest I've ever waited in the mail for a record, and I will spin it tonight in celebration, as we do not have any new Frank music, unfortunately, to enjoy yet, but hopefully soon. All right, let's do another unboxing. This one is actually something that if you're a fan of my record label, you'll be pretty appreciative of. If you guys didn't know, I have a record label. I've sold out 12 records in the past 2.5 years, and we're showing no signs of stopping. We're just going to keep this train rolling because there's lots of great artists that need love and need wax, and I'm here to help that happen. But yeah, let me try to get through. This is one of those mailers that's taped up like a I don't know. What's a good metaphor? What am I trying to say here? It's taped up. All right, hold on. You think I'd be better at opening mailers at this point in my illustrious record career? All right, I'm just mangling this at this point because it's just not opening properly. What we have here is test pressing. We have test pressings for TMR 11. I almost forgot my numbers. TMR 11, which is Tribe. I Am What I Am. Really, really stoked to hear this. I'm hoping I can listen to it and improve it tonight to keep everything going as planned. But yeah, so if you guys missed this, Tribe is a really excellent hip-hop collective. Hip-hop, R&B, soul. They really kind of, a lot of neo-soul vibes. They really run the gamut of all kinds of genres. And I was honored that they let me press their only full-length album, I think, on vinyl. They were supposed to open the Homecoming Festival in Cleveland for the National, and that got canceled because of, the thing that happened last year. But, yeah, so test pressings are here, but let's keep going. I got more records that are not test pressings to get through to show you guys that you hopefully will know more of. All right, let's keep the train rolling. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, this is so rad. So this is something I literally discovered the existence of about a week ago, and it's already here. So this album you've probably never heard of. It's this is Dog Years by The Night Game. So The Night Game is an artist I thought I had never heard of, but I actually absolutely have. The lead singer of The Night Game is the lead singer of the pop punk band Boys Like Girls. If you don't know Boys Like Girls, they put out an album as their self-titled, their first album, and it was, to me, I think it embodied the best parts of the entire mid-2000s pop punk like energy and movement. It's a perfect record with literally front to back bangers. And then they put out a bunch of records afterwards that were not good, and people quickly forgot about them because of that. Now, the lead singer of Boys Like Girls has started a new band called The Night Game, and it is not pop punk at all. It's like 80s like arena rock. It's like really fun 80s inspired indie rock. And I heard this album and I was like, oh my God, like this is the best thing he's done since Boys Like Girls self-titled. So I went to the website and I saw he had copies of this in the web store, and I purchased one, and I said in the notes, I said, hey, can you sign the cover? Because you never know if these artists are running their own web store or not. And look, he did. So, yeah, that's so cool of him to have A, signed the cover, and B, shipped it out so fast and without damage to the jacket, which is great. You never know. So, yeah, really stoked on this. If you like 80s kind of like, 80s inspired rock, definitely check out this album. I was blown away on first listen. I thought it was something that I'm shocked that I hadn't heard about up until this point. All right, what do we have here? This is weird because it was just like this and there was no tape. It was just like in the slot. That's a dangerous way to ship a record, person who I got a record from. Okay, this was a random find on Reddit vinyl releases. So this is an album. Is the band Alba? I think the band is Alba or maybe Alba Sacramentarium, I think. Music is the hint of who you are, and silence as well. I think that's the album title. I'm not sure. All I know is that they compared this to Spangle, and I'm a big Spangle fan, and I listened to the first couple tracks on this, and I was like, this is really, really good, kind of like psychedelic electronic music. World music inspired, really good stuff. It's not the full album, unfortunately. They what they did, it looks like, is they took some of the best tracks and almost made a sampler. It's 6 pretty long songs, so each side's probably around the 20-minute mark, so it'll feel like a full album, but it's missing some of the tracks from the full album. But if you guys like Spangle or electronic music, definitely check out Alba Sacramentarium. I really enjoyed what I heard, and I enjoyed it enough to buy it. So, all right, this is a big boy box. I think I know what this is, though, based on the label. Oh my gosh, hold on. Oh, I just dropped all the records. Hold on. So this was a surprising restock by Plaid Room Records. I was actually really surprised to see this pop up. So they did a restock not only of the soundtrack, which is funny because I did a video about this soundtrack a couple months ago saying that it was one of my records that jumped up in price the most from when I bought it, because I bought it for like $7 because of a weird promo in 2015 or something. But it was the Inside Llewyn Davis soundtrack. So they did a restock of that. Maybe a small repress happened. But they also did a restock of the long out of print 3-disc tribute to Inside Llewyn Davis. Just a whole bunch of extremely talented musicians honoring the music from the film, and that was inspired by the film and whatnot. So this is, let's see, we got Avett Brothers, Joan Baez, Elvis Costello, Lake Street Dive, Milk Carton Kids, Conor Oberst, Punch Brothers, Jack White, Oscar Isaac, Adam Driver. It's like the only thing they're missing is Justin Timberlake, to be honest. But this is a really great tribute to the music of one of my favorite music films, without a doubt. Oscar Isaac is incredible in this movie. And yeah, so this was out of print. It was a benefit concert that happened, and I'm glad that they did a repress of it because this is going for easily over $100. And I think they were advertising this as like slightly corner dinged stock, and that's I think that's the corner ding. That's not a big deal. For a few bucks off, I will gladly take a corner ding without a question. So that's really cool. Excited about that. James, I don't think I opened your package yet, so I think you're here in time. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's keep going, folks. And remember, as I'm doing these unboxings, if you want to ask a question and I'll answer it, I'll see the super chat. It'll show up in bright colors. So super chat me if you want me to answer anything in depth, and I will. You could give it 1 cent or you can give it $1 million. Either way, I'll answer it to the fullest. But let's keep going with the unboxing, shall we? So this here is this is a vaporwave record by one of my favorite vaporwave artists. I guess he's kind of a lo-fi beat tape / vaporwave artist. This is my man, the Wizard of Loneliness, and this is one of my favorite records of his. Farewell, My Little Viking. One of my favorite songs of his whole career is Grape Judas, and that's on this record. But it's a loosely Pete and Pete inspired vaporwave lo-fi hip-hop album, and Gulf Audio's Bandcamp was selling these for like $10 or something, like really, really cheap. So I actually owned a different pressing of this, but this cover I love so much more. If you were a Pete and Pete fan, this has just got to be unbelievably nostalgic for you. It was for me. But it's just a really great tape, and for like $10 or whatever it was a no-brainer to grab this cover as well. So yeah, it comes on red and blue records, so check this out if you don't know it. It's very good. I recommend. All right. You got a big box here. A big box, but a light box nonetheless. Hey, Travis. Thanks for coming in, man. All right. A big box, but a light box, which means it's going to be hopefully a well-packed record. Guess we'll find out. I want to visit this store so badly. I've ordered from them so many times. 1 2 3 4 Go Records. They always have really good like post record store day deals. Like a lot of the stuff that sells out in stores is available here. So what did I get from here? I'm trying to even remember what it was. Oh, I know what it is. So this was a record that I was a little bummed to have to spend this much, but it seems to be a trend with her and her bands. Her band. So this is Cleo's Soul. The album is called, what is it called? Damn it, I don't remember. Roses? Is it Roses? It's not on the spine. Cleo Soul is one of the vocalists in the band Salt, S-A-U-L-T, which is one of my favorite new music collectives that is a fusion of jazz, hip-hop, R&B, soul, pretty much every good genre. And this is her solo record, and unfortunately it's an import, I guess, because the only sites that have it are from overseas, and this was like, it was like $50 for a single LP. But I read reviews, they say it sounds fantastic, and she's so talented that I guarantee this is going to be sought after down the road. If you don't get it now, you'll never get it kind of situation. But Cleo Soul, Cleosol, she's so talented. One of my favorite modern vocalists from recent years. But Nick, he's here with the super chat. Let me quickly answer this. Thank you. Do I have any Atmosphere records in my collection? He's your favorite artist, and the vinyl for all of his stuff is incredible. It's funny. I grew up in Northern California, but I left when I was 12. I just left before I would have gotten into Atmosphere, and I never really spent time with his catalog. I really haven't heard any Atmosphere tracks outside of maybe stuff on compilations. I know I need to sit there and listen to his albums and kind of dive through it. It's one of those things that I slept on for a while, but maybe now is the time to dive into it. I know it's pretty daunting. There's a lot of Atmosphere that exists. So maybe you can tell me where a good place to start is. All right, let's keep going. Let's see if I can do the pull tab. Pretty good. This is not one of those garbage mailers that I've talked about before that always rips. This was a good one, so success. This right here is the deluxe version of Boldy James, The Price of Tea in China, done by none other than The Alchemist, everyone's favorite gold hoarding producer who prices his records like they're precious jewels and they sell out. But this was kind of like the beginning of a really frustrating trend in the hip-hop world where they would put out a record and it would sell out, and then they would announce a deluxe version or a version with an extra track or two, maybe 6 months later, and it's just like, why would you not have done that for the first one? It feels like a giant slap in the face for fans. But I had a first pressing of this non-deluxe. I sold it when I got the deluxe one, and it almost came out as a wash, I think, based on what I sold and what I purchased this for. They're all so overpriced to begin with that it's just like the same whirlpool of dollars just going around. But I didn't get any of the fancy colors for this one. I really just got the standard black because I could not stomach the like crazy prices for the variants. I'm going to be honest, I really enjoy Boldy James, but I don't love this album as much as like Major McNichols and all his other ones that he's put out recently. Those are kind of like, I gravitate to those more than this, even though this was kind of the one that kind of put him into the public eye. But it's good nonetheless. Mike says, what's my favorite autographed item? It doesn't have to be vinyl. Well, obviously, if you've seen my Pearl Jam Benaroya Hall box set that's autographed, that's probably the top of the rocks for me. But I also really personally cherish my Lil Ugly Mane box set that's signed by him on the cover, because I got to meet him and he signed it for me in person, and he's one of my all-time favorite artists, and he's pretty elusive, so I thought that was pretty cool for him to do, and that's a great memory. And yeah. All right, what do we have here? We have a lot of mailers from overseas today, actually. So let's see. Some of these overseas mailers are so dang thin, they can be a little nerve-wracking. Like this one has clearly seen some better days in the corner, but let's see if it survived the trek to the States. It barely even survived the opening of that. Ooh, and I see a little damage right off the bat. These mailers are just not good, especially if they're going those long distances. Yeah, this is let me show you how gnarly this... Like, I've talked about not caring about minor damage before, but this is... I don't know if you can see. This is a massive crease. This is an unacceptable amount of damage for a record. This would have been solved by a better mailer or better packing. This is the kind of thing where I feel like I'm going to throw in a request for a replacement jacket and it's going to get lost in the void, and I'm never going to hear from them again just because it's a really small underground artist. Sleep Sinatra, hip-hop, found it on Bandcamp, really liked it. I don't feel the need to necessarily promote them right now or talk about them because I'm annoyed at how poorly they sent this record, but Sleep Sinatra, pretty good. Ken, thank you for the super chat. Welcome back. I feel recharged and rested. Yeah, I feel pretty good. I think I'm excited about the videos I have filmed that are coming out over the next few weeks. I'm excited about some big announcements over the next couple months, if not sooner. And yeah, things are good. I mean, I'm excited about life kind of returning back to normal and going to shows and all that jazz. It's a very exciting prospect. All right, let's keep going. All right. Bonobo Black Sands. This is the 10th anniversary cool gray vinyl. I love this record. This was my introduction to Bonobo. I still love Kiara and Kong so much. What an incredible way to start an album. If you don't know Bonobo, he's one of the masters of down-tempo electronic music. Very accessibly experimental stuff. Great grooves. Just super talented. I'd love to see Bonobo live. Actually, fun fact about Bonobo and live. I was at Coachella a few years back, and Drake was headlining, and I was at Drake's set, and it was horrible. And I'm a Drake fan, at least I used to be his albums lately have been whatever, but his earliest stuff is great. And I was at Drake's set, and it was terrible. And then I found out after the fact that Bonobo was doing a secret set across the entire Coachella grounds. And I was like, I could have been at Bonobo this whole time, and I was sitting watching Drake talk about how great he was and playing all of his ballads. Like, man, that was a huge mistake. But Bonobo is awesome. I have heard that this 10th anniversary repress sounds bad. I was reading about it on Discogs, and people are saying that it's not a good pressing, which is a huge bummer because this album absolutely deserves a good pressing. So I'll listen to it and I'll make my own decision, but Bonobo is absolutely terrific. Big fan of everything he does. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, James, this is you. Guys, I'm so excited about this. James is in the chat right now, and he sent me this because I saw him posted in the Too Many Records Facebook group, and I was like, that looks amazing. Can you tell me where you found that? And his local store had a copy, and he hooked it up, which is so cool of him. So thank you. This is a bootleg, but the only way to get this on vinyl, Radiohead Unplugged, a collection of acoustic performances. And the track list on this is just, it's wonderful. It starts off with There, which is a top 5 Radiohead song, maybe. Top 10 at least. But then it goes into I Might Be Wrong, Blowout, Go to Sleep, Street Spirit, and then Creep. That side A is just like 10 out of 10. And then B, Lucky, No Surprises, Fake Plastic Trees, Karma Police, and After the Gold Rush, which is a cover. But yeah, this is a killer set list, and I cannot wait to listen to this. So, James, thank you so much for sending me this. I have never seen this in a store before, and this came from overseas, or was it overseas? Where it was from? France? I think. France or Canada. I don't know which one. I think Canada, actually. I'm not remembering. But either way, yeah, I'm super excited to listen to this. I mean, Radiohead is one of my favorite bands, and acoustically, they're terrific. So, cool stuff. Thank you, James. Let's keep going. We got 2 more, and then we'll do some Q&A and chat about whatever. It'll be great until you guys decide to leave. Or I get hungry for dinner. You know how this works. So this was a Diggers Factory buy. If you don't know Diggers Factory, they are, I don't know, it's kind of like crates where it's not people that are, it's artists. I guess it's kind of like crates. They basically have campaigns for records, and if they get funded, they get pressed. And I found a lot of great stuff, especially in like the hip hop, lo-fi hip hop, beat tape scene through there. This is Triumphant. It's Shing02 and Jack the Rip. Shing02 is an amazing rapper. He is most notably known for all the times he rapped on Nujabes tracks. Most specifically, he was on the Lovesick hexology, which is the 6 songs that are lovesick. That's just like some of the best work Nujabes has ever done. So this is a Shing02 record with Jack the Rip, I assume is the producer. Yep. And I'm excited to hear it. I really love Shing02 as a rapper. I met him at a Nujabes tribute show, and he signed my copy of Lovesick Part 3, which is my favorite of the parts, as well as his record. He had like I think his record's called 900, I think, or 300 or 600. It's one of those numbers, and there's a big brain on the cover, and I found it, and it's him rapping in Japanese. And it's okay. It's not my favorite. I definitely prefer him rapping in English because I understand it, and I can connect to the lyrics more. But he has a great flow, and I'm excited to listen to this. And let's see, last one of the stream, but not the end of the stream, just the last one. I think I know what this is. Got so close to just a little bit extra. All right. is not ripping as I thought it would. This is a weird mailer. Oh my goodness. Am I doing this right? There's no way I'm doing this right. I think I just ruined everything. What's going on here? What is happening? There are things falling all over me. Okay, so there's... I guess they just threw in some random jackets with it. I thought there were other records, but they're just jackets to keep it sturdy. But this is Ulrich Schnaus, and I think it's Jonas Monk, or Jonas Monk. Ulrich Schnaus is one of my favorite electronic music artists ever. He inspired directly Tycho, who is another one of my favorite electronic music artists. Ulrich Schnaus is just... He just has such a unique knack for melody. I really feel like in the down-tempo electronic scene, there isn't really anyone that does it quite like him. And I think anything that he does, I am pretty quick to want to own on vinyl. And this is something called 8 Fragments of an Illusion. I've never even listened to it, but I saw his name and I bought it because his stuff, I don't regret any purchase I've ever done involving this man. So if you don't know Ulrich Schnaus, listen to his whole catalog. A Strangely Isolated Place is my favorite of his albums, but they're all so damn good. But yeah, so this is a 12-inch and a 10-inch in here, and I'm excited to listen to this. This is probably going to be beautiful. Cool. All right, so those are the unboxings for today. If you missed some of them, I'm going to have the live stream up on the YouTube channel. I'm sorry, on the Facebook group for about a week, and then it's going to be unlisted on the channel because they don't really get views after the initial surge. But if you guys want to chat for a little bit, ask some questions, throw some super chats my way, buy me dinner, folks. Buy me a dinner. Have I earned a dinner? I'm just kidding. I'd love to chat, though, if you have any music questions. Am I excited for the new J. Cole album this week? No, I don't like J. Cole. I have never heard a J. Cole song and had a reaction more than... I've never heard one of his bars have been like, ooh, yeah. J. Cole doesn't do it for me. I think he is the most overrated rapper ever to exist in the sense of how talented he is, which he is talented, and how worshipped he is, which is way too much. It's just boring to me. I'm just not into it. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not excited. Dream collabs. I mean, that's a really tough question to answer. Off the top of my head, I would kill for a full Phoebe Bridgers and Hayley Williams album together. I think that would be unbelievable. And I love that Phoebe is on one of Hayley's albums as a featured vocalist. But give me the full collab. Give me the Better Oblivion Community Center treatment. I know that I think 9 Inch Nails just collaborated with someone. Health. That's pretty cool. I would like to listen to that soon. James, you missed a phone call. I talked all about it. This stream will be on the Facebook group, so you'll be able to rewind and see your segment. But thank you again for the Radiohead. What have I been listening to during the break? What have I been listening to during the break? That's a really good question. I've been listening to a lot of Spangle, actually. But, yeah, I've kind of just been diving into The National a lot, my favorite band, and that's directly related to one of the videos I'm putting out next week. So, yeah, you'll know why I've been kind of revisiting that a lot soon. Will, thank you for the super chat. My thoughts on the Walmart vinyl event. You have strong opinions, but you want to hear my thoughts. This is a trap. This is bait, Will. I know what you're doing. You're trying to get me in trouble. Last time I did a video that had my thoughts on Walmart sales, I got absolutely reamed in the comments. People were extremely aggressive and angry about my feelings. So I'll keep them terse and I'll keep them brief this time around. I think that if you would like to purchase a record from the Walmart sale, you absolutely should. There's no necessarily reason to boycott Walmart outside of the general reasons to boycott Walmart. Not just, there are negative aspects of them doing a record store day type thing in that it does take away from local stores getting sales occasionally. If enough people do it, they're not spending those dollars in the community. And that's my biggest problem with the Walmart sale. It's not shaming someone for spending their money at Walmart. It's I'm looking at it like I want to try to support local record stores as much as possible. And if you can do both, amazing. But if some people have to choose each week, I can only buy 2 records, and they spend that at Walmart instead of the local store, that money is much better allocated to help keep their stores lights on. Walmart is doing just fine, piggybacking off of their terrible labor laws. But yeah, I'm not for or against it. I think it's fine. I just hope people don't buy every single Walmart exclusive and think that they're going to make a killing reselling them or something. I don't know. I just think that's I think it's a little foolish that they're manufacturing these collectibles, a lot of which are no one asked for. I looked at the list today and I was like, who wants represses of 90% of these? So who knows, but that's kind of my abbreviated thoughts. Another super chat from, I think it's Mike TR. Nothing was the same pressing for Record Store Day would have been amazing this year. You're not the only one who was underwhelmed by the hip-hop coverage on the list. Actually, I disagree with you. There's a ton of great hip-hop on the list this year, and I wish I had my list of stuff that I'm interested in front of me. I don't, but like Slum Village, I remember I was so impressed by the majority of the list when it came to hip-hop, and I'm actually like blanking on what I was excited for from the list, so maybe you are more right than I think, but I think it's just I think there was a good representation of hip-hop this year, which I feel like usually there's kind of a mediocre Record Store Day reputation. So Nothing Was the Same would be amazing. I own the bootleg, but if they did a proper version, I would buy it in a heartbeat. That's one of my favorite hip-hop records for sure. John, you got an audiophile pressing, skips in several places. You got a replacement disc, same thing. Has that ever happened to me? I've never gotten a replacement of a record that skipped in the same spot unless that was an actual defect on the disc that wasn't caught. If you go to Discogs and look at that individual pressing, if there is a defect, I almost guarantee there'll be someone who left a note that says there's a pressing defect, and you'll know that it was the run. Otherwise, it could be your turntable. It seems unlikely that it would cause a skip in the exact same part. What is your turntable? That might be a good way to start troubleshooting this. All right, let me scroll up a little bit. I missed a few things. What are my thoughts on 21 Pilots? I have no thoughts on them. There's no room for 21 Pilots to take up thought in my brain. They are absolutely they're nothing to me. Have I heard the really new, not really new, but finally getting shipped Maggie Rogers? My girlfriend loves Maggie Rogers. I like that song Alaska, but I can't really get into anything else that she's done. I don't think she's untalented. For me, it doesn't really do it for me. When I mentioned a strangely isolated place, you thought they were talking about the label that does the ambient records. I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but they probably got the name from Ulrich Schnauz's record. Maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like Ulrich Schnauz's record came first. Beck, I'm sorry that you feel personally victimized about J. Cole. I know he's a lot of people's favorite, and I think I have some authority and knowledge when it comes to hip-hop, so I am not saying that my opinion is gospel about J. Cole, but I don't think it's totally unfounded. I just personally have never connected with his material. What are things I'm excited about music-wise and concerts-wise over the coming months? I mentioned that earlier, but I said I'm going to Motion City... I'm trying to buy tickets to Motion City Soundtrack. I have tickets to Machine Gun Kelly, and I have tickets to Rufus Wainwright and Jose Gonzalez, and hopefully more. As soon as these artists start announcing tours, like, this last year has told... If it taught me anything, it's that I'm no longer going to just sit back and let concerts pass by, because you never know when you're going to be locked down for a year of your life in a global pandemic. And I'm going to, those concerts are memories you have forever, and they're always worth it. And if I see a show that I want to go to, I'm going to figure out a way to go to it. I'll sell a record and buy a ticket, because you can always get the record back, but you can't always go to the show. Am I into any punk or post-punk bands at the moment? Not really. For punk, I'm way more into like the pop punk side of things than I am traditional punk. Although I was listening to a bit of the Mezingers. How do you pronounce them? The Messengers, the Mezingers. Is that right? I don't know. Everyone keeps telling me to listen to them, and I was listening to some of them, and I really did enjoy it. My favorite live bootleg. That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. That's a bootleg. Yeah, I don't think I have one. Did I get any Star Wars related records or merch last week? I didn't. I have a pretty substantial Star Wars record collection. I don't think I necessarily need more. I think I'm good for now. Off the top of my head, name my number one 1990 to 2000 indie hip hop 12. I don't know if I can answer. I don't quite know the answer. I don't understand the question fully, but I don't even know if I can do that off the top of my head. When are we going to meet up to dig in Portland? Well, I'm fully vaccinated now. I'm still waiting for a little bit of time to pass before it gets a little more normalized for meetups, but I can't wait to make videos in Portland. I can't wait to make videos at record stores and meet up with the TMR community and go record shopping. So as long as you're in the TMR Facebook group, we'll organize some great times to do a little PDX record crawl for sure. Have I heard of Ocean Grove? I have not. And a Kai Pro with the Audio Technica cartridge. John, yeah, I feel like unless your setup is not set up right and you have some issue like where it's not balanced properly or, you know, the cartridge isn't aligned properly, I feel like it's probably a defect within the pressing of that audiophile record. If that's the only record that's skipping and it's skipping in the same place across two copies, that's just my guess. What about the Carpenters? Do I like them? Yeah, I do like the Carpenters. I don't think I own any records of the Carpenters, but yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anyone that dislikes the Carpenters. What's my favorite Kanye record? Does it piss me off that they don't have the skits on his first album's vinyl? My favorite Kanye record is 808s and Heartbreak. And honestly, I like Kanye skits and I like skits in general most of the time. But if they're not on the record, I'm not mortified. I think you have to be in the right mood to hear the skits. And I feel like sometimes you just want to get to the music. So it's all right. You watched Ulrich Schnauz perform under a meteor shower in a field in Ireland? That's maybe the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. I've never seen Ulrich Schnauz perform live, but wow. That's a memory that's what I'm talking about, guys, with these concerts. It's like you go to these concerts and you have these memories that you remember forever. Like there's no reason now to like say, oh, I can't make it, I can't afford it. You can always find a way to afford it. We all own these records, sell a couple records, go to the show, buy the records back later. That's the truth. Bex, the National isn't your favorite. Well, maybe my video next week will change your mind on that. And he says, wait, you're into Machine Gun Kelly? I did not think you would be. Well, you just outed yourself for not watching all my videos, my friend, because my top 10 albums of 2020, MGK made the list. So if you haven't seen that, you should go back and watch that one. That's a good video. I'm ignoring some of the questions about Walmart because I feel like it's going to turn into a heated debate. If you want to discuss it with me in depth, I'm happy to answer any questions via DM or email, but I don't really want to waste time on this stream debating the ethics of Walmart. You blame My Chemical Romance for the whole lockdown. Announce a reunion tour. The world ends. Thanks, Gerard. That's funny. I was supposed to go to the reunion tour, so I'm really sad about that. I never got tickets to the King Gizzard marathon shows, and honestly, it's because after Polygon Awanaland, I haven't loved anything that Giz has done. I feel like they've put out a bunch of stuff. Infest the Rat's Nest was cool if you're in the mood for thrash, but like ultimately a lot of their releases have been kind of lukewarm for me, and I was coming off of a high of loving just about everything that they had done for ages. I'm excited about their upcoming record they just announced, I think today. It's supposed to be dreamy and psychedelic, so that's probably the Giz that I like a lot, and I'm hoping it's like paper mache. We'll see, but I'm excited for that. What are my thoughts so far on the new style St. Vincent's going for? I mean, I love the artists that she cited as inspiration for the album. Excuse me. When you talk this much, your throat gets dry. I think I'm good. I've only heard the first single from the album, and it was okay. I think I wanted to wait until the full album came out to listen to it, to hope that it kind of works as a cohesive jam piece. But I think if anyone can do that style authentically, she's definitely a good candidate. She's such a good guitarist, so I'm excited to hear what the album sounds like. You got into Beulah not long ago. You really like their music. Do I have any other recommendations? Beulah's amazing. I mean, all of their albums, especially Coast and Heartstrings, are just like fantastic. Honestly, I don't really know a lot of bands that sound like Beulah. They really have a very unique kind of sunshiny pop sound. Granddaddy maybe has a little bit of Beulah vibes at times. I don't know though. Do I own any old bluegrass records? I don't like bluegrass, but I will say I have been listening to Billy Strings lately, and I think he's pretty fantastic. Would I recommend a record clamp? Only if you think it would help a warped record. Record clamps, for me, I don't notice the difference discernibly. I think that for some people and for some records, they may be really useful, but personally, I don't use one unless there's a really warped record, and sometimes it does help. Have I ordered the Billy Talent Afraid of Heights LP? Yes, I actually have the black pressing, but I ordered the red wine or whatever as well because I love Billy Talent, and I'll probably end up trading the black one and keeping the colored one. In lieu of COVID, any live stream concerts I consider memorable. I didn't do any live stream concerts because I don't really get the enjoyment out of them. I mean, I know you guys are watching a live stream right now, and that seems like an extremely ironic thing to say, but ultimately for me, live stream concerts, just I don't have a good enough audio setup to listen to them and enjoy the sound properly, so it's just kind of like a bad sound at a concert. The reason I love concerts is because of the personal connection. You're right there. The music's in your face. There's no barrier between you and the instruments, and it's just kind of like a special thing between you and the artist. And live streams, there's the screen. It just feels very inauthentic for me. But I did, at the very beginning of the pandemic, I watched Lights do a couple Instagram lives where she was doing covers of like emo songs and covers of Drake, and it was really fun. But again, it just made me want to go see Lights live. Do I have a favorite King Gizzard album? Yeah, it really varies, but I think it's Polygon and Wannaland, but it might be, sometimes it's Nonagon. I don't know. There's so many good records. You just bought a Knowledge record from Stone's Throw. I really like Knowledge. I actually don't know his stuff that well. I have a couple of his records, but I haven't really like spent enough time with them, but he's very talented. I think he's great. Is the AT LP60X player good for beginners? I personally don't think so. I think that you really need a counterweight and an anti-skate to be sure that your records are, your tone arm is dialed in properly and that it's not excess groove on your records and not causing them to skip. The LP60X does not have a counterweight, so you won't be able to properly upgrade the cartridge to anything worth its weight if you get into the hobby more, and B, it's not going to really output that really good sound that vinyl is known for. But if you want to get if you want to, not save up for the LP120 or a Fluance RT81 and just kind of see if you like vinyl, you can get one. But for me, it feels like a waste of money and a step that you could just wait to take when you can afford the step up. That'll be a great starting place. When did I start collecting? I started collecting in 2013, and it kind of escalated very quickly. By 2014, I probably had 100 records. It was like a very quick first year, and then it snowballed. So I really fell in love fast. All right, Calvin, I told you I don't want to debate this, so I'm going to put you in timeout because I don't want to talk about this on the stream. It seems like a waste of time to fight you on something that you're defending a big box store like Walmart. Like, that's a really great stance to take. What do I do with all the record mailers I get after I open them? I usually keep them aside because I sometimes sell and trade records and they're nice to have. I only keep mailers that don't get mangled in opening them and that are actually sturdy, and like whiplash mailers and ones that are super high quality. I love to keep those because those are expensive if you want to buy them in bulk. So when people send a high quality mailer, I keep them. But normally I just recycle them, or I keep the good ones. What do I finally got around to the new Amoeba. It was nice. It was so great. It was so great going to Amoeba. That video was so fun to make, and the dig was just, as you guys saw, I found an unbelievable amount of good stuff. Hey Jason, you came right at the tail end. I'm taking off soon-ish, but we still have questions coming in, so I'm sticking around for a little while. Thoughts on the debut Carbon Evo? I've never listened to it, so I actually have no thoughts on it. But it's not a bad table from what I know. Do I have thoughts on the UHQR Miles Davis Kind of Blue? I am not a big jazz guy, so I did not. I have a copy of Kind of Blue because it's a classic, but I don't know how often I would spin it, so I don't know if it's worth spending all that money on an amazing quality version of it. Have I listened to any black metal lately, or extreme metal, or death metal? No, those aren't my genres. I do like some metal. I like new metal, shockingly. I like folk metal, like Agalloch. And I like, popular metal like Metallica and Megadeth. But I'm not a big metal guy. I like Rammstein. When it gets too technically harsh and too aggressive, it loses me. Like, I can't do, like, Meshuggah and things like that. Did I get the Mars Volta box set? I did not, because I am not a big Mars Volta fan. And I'm kind of grateful for that right now with the prices that the individuals are going for. It's just like, wild. Is Amazon good for buying records? I mean, it's convenient for sure. Again, if it's a record that's in print, I would absolutely go to your local store and see if they can order it for you, because you support the store that way. And if it's in print, they can get it from a distro just like Amazon does. But if you're looking for just pure convenience, if you need something quick, yeah, I mean, Amazon's good. I occasionally will buy a record on Amazon, but it's usually only if I can only find it on Amazon, which happens sometimes. Loving the love for Canadian bands. Have I gotten into Arkles? I have not, but the guy from Arkles, I believe he does a duet with Lights on Siberia Acoustic, which is one of my all-time favorite albums. So yeah, I love that track, and that's maybe my favorite track on the whole album. But I should probably listen to his stuff now that I'm realizing how much I like them. Thoughts on Mad Villainy 2, the remix? I do own it, but I don't think I've ever actually listened to it. I think I bought it because I got it at a store for cheap years ago. It just makes me mad that it's not truly Mad Villainy 2, which is the album they've been teasing forever that supposedly Madlib and Doom recorded most of before Doom passed away. So, yeah. Would getting a Fluance 85 be a good upgrade from an LP60? I think that would be a great upgrade. If you have the money, your ears are going to be blown away when you listen to an LP. When you listen to your favorite records that you've been listening to on LP60 on the RT85, you are going to be like, I understand why people upgrade their gear. Like, that is the perfect jump to be able to fully kind of grasp why vinyl is worth investing in monetarily. One of my top 3 essential albums to own on vinyl. That's a tough question to just throw out there, but I have a lot of videos that kind of answer that question and circumvent it, so you can probably jump in and answer that in some capacity. Any listen to proper industrial techno? Not really. I like ambient techno, but I don't really love techno in the genres that it kind of goes into. What does in-print mean? Sure. In-print means that the album still has copies that are around in stores or that can be ordered from the label. It's basically that the album is not sold all of the copies, where the only ones that exist are ones that have been sitting around, and that a store is able to go to a distro or go to a label and order 10 copies or whatever it may be for their store. Or if you order from a label directly, or an artist directly, if there's copies remaining that are available for whatever the original price was, that record is in print. A record goes out of print when the artist or the label has no more copies to sell, and the only copies are the ones that are floating around, and that creates the aftermarket because people are trying to get the record, it's sold out, and now the people that dictate the price are the ones that have the copies that they purchased when it was in print. And then if they're like, I want this record, but I'll sell it to you for $80, and it sells for $80, and then someone else sees that it sold for $80 and says, well, I'll sell my copy for $80, that becomes the established aftermarket price. So the aftermarket is dictated by the buyers more than the sellers, because if the buyers never purchase the aftermarket prices, they don't stick, if that makes sense. Hey Bunny, will we see any new Jabez Spiritual State on wax anytime soon? I think so. I feel like because we saw the other two big new Jabez records, I think it's only a matter of time before Hideout presses Spiritual State. I hope they do. I love that record. Thoughts on new Czarface? Have not heard it yet, but I'm excited. I talked about it a little earlier. My thoughts on Kraftwerk. I've tried a few times to get into Kraftwerk, and it's one of those bands that I don't dislike, but I don't find myself wanting to return to. And it's probably because I really need to give it a real, dedicated listen. Do I have my streaming service platforms public? I don't, but honestly, I don't listen to Spotify as much as you think I would, and when I do listen to it, it's often to the same few artists. Someone actually made a playlist of all the albums from my top 100 albums of all time series, and they sent it to me. If you look it up on playlists, I think it's called Too Many Records Top 100 Albums playlist or something. I usually just shuffle that because they're my favorite 100 albums, and there's a couple albums that the person got wrong and they put the wrong record there. They put a Biggie and Faith Evans album instead of Ready to Die, but ultimately it's pretty accurate, and I think I just shuffle that all the time when I'm in the car because it's always a song I love. Would it damage a record to frame the record itself and hang it? I wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't do it. I mean, if you don't care about it potentially being damaged, go for it, but I don't think that's a great idea. Did I get the My Bloody Valentine Loveless reissue? I got the one from 2018. It sounds unbelievable, so I'm glad that they repressed it so more people had a chance to get it. Oh man, so many questions, folks. All right, I tried to give you a chance, man, but you're done. Let's see. Gigaton, better or worse after a year? I think that Gigaton is about the same. I think it still is my least favorite Pearl Jam album, but that is not to say it is a bad album because I love every Pearl Jam album, including Backspacer and Lightning Bolt. But Gigaton, for some reason, the songs, for the most part, aren't as deep and they don't grab me as well as a lot of the other albums, but it's a great record. I love it. How do I feel about greatest hits records? I think they have a time and place. I'm the kind of person that really enjoys listening to albums in full, like studio albums, and greatest hits records are only for bands that don't have any albums I love in full. Like, for example, you put out Biggie's greatest hits, and for me, I think all Biggie's albums are pretty excellent, although Ready to Die is the only essential one because it's the only, I guess, real one. But if an artist only has some great tracks scattered across albums, I'll get their greatest hits instead because for me, I think that's all I would really want to hear. But if an artist has a bunch of great albums, I would much rather own their albums. All right, we are going to do a few more questions, and then I'm going to take off because there's quite a bit. All right, we got Mike with the super chat. He jumps the queue. What is my biggest music guilty pleasure? Probably right now, Machine Gun Kelly. I know a lot of people are making fun of his album, but I thought it was just absolute perfect nostalgic pop punk. He didn't have to reinvent the wheel. It was just fun to listen to. And that's probably the thing that I'm most embarrassed about loving. That's the truth. Would I call myself an audiophile, or do I think that well been poisoned by some of the bad eggs in the community. I don't call myself an audiophile. I have some audiophile gear, but a lot of audiophiles would call my gear bad because, yes, there is a lot of elitism within the audiophile community. I'm a music lover. I'm passionate about discussing and listening to music. Do I need the absolute best sound? No. I mean, the way my setup is, this room is not acoustically treated with panels. My cartridge could be better on my Clearaudio. Like, there's lots of things that I could do better. I don't think I'm someone that is overly obsessed with sound quality. I think I'm obsessed with sound, if that makes sense. I love good music. Do I think it's unethical to buy a bootleg of a record if the artist never released the album officially? Like, if they never pressed it to vinyl, is it unethical to buy a bootleg? No, I think that as long as you will absolutely buy the record. Like, for me, when I buy a bootleg, I tell myself, okay, I'm buying this as a placeholder, and if and when the artist releases a real version, I will purchase that and replace it. If an artist doesn't want to press a record on vinyl for some reason, and there's a bootleg available, I enjoy the act of spinning a record. So, yes, I'll get the bootleg as long as it doesn't sound like crap. My favorite Doom album is Victor Vaughn, Vaudeville Villain. Sorry, guys. I'm going to skim through some of these for ones that I think I can answer well. Tips to get Daft Punk for a reasonable price. Wait for the reissues. They're all going to be reissued. None of them are limited. And the labels are going to print money with them because they have the band. The members of the band aren't dead. They just said they're stopping making music. So I don't know why people acted like Daft Punk was dead and like treated it like a artist. It's very, very weird to me. Any records I have my eye on for first record store day of 2021? I did a video on that. I highly recommend checking it out from right when the list dropped, where I talk about all the things I'm into. So please go check that out. I appreciate that you dig the vids. There's so many good questions, guys. You guys are literally just like overrunning me with questions. I'm only gonna answer a couple more unless there's a super chat in the next few seconds. So let's see. I'm scrolling real fast. There's too much. Too many good ones. MGK was a Blink-182 clone. That's fine, because it was with Travis, and it was better than a lot of Blink-182's post-Tom stuff. That's for damn sure. How many West Side Gun records do I have? Off the top of my head, I have whichever Hitler wears Hermes, the one with the red cover with the Hitler face. I have West Side Doom. I have... what else do I have? I have Pray for Paris. I want to say I have a few others, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. All right, so that was all. That was the live stream today, folks. This was lovely. I really had a good time. Look forward to my return to YouTube on Wednesday. I'm going to be back with a really fun video that's going to hopefully make you guys think about something. The topic's going to be something that's commonplace in the vinyl community, or not the vinyl community, but like the hobby, that needs to stop immediately. That's the prompt. Think about what that might mean, and hopefully on Wednesday you have some interesting thoughts on my thoughts, and some more stuff coming up in the next coming weeks. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I always appreciate these streams and your support, and look forward to a lot of good stuff in the near future. So thank you guys so much. Have a good